Welcome back, everyone. Well, we saw Peter the Hermit and the rest of his peasant army get dispatched by those that were in the city of Jerusalem. But finally, after taking a lot of key cities that were part of the Holy Lands, they're going to see the Crusader army arriving in Jerusalem and being able to defeat the Muslim army that was inside. They're led by a guy by the name of Godfrey. His troops are able to break through the walls, and thus begins a massacre. They basically are going to kill anything in sight. Unfortunately, what that means is not only Muslims, they're clear enemy in all of this, but Jews that were living in the city. And unfortunately, as we think about Christians killing other Christians, this is a moment where, because of the look of certain Christians living in Jerusalem, they looked like Middle Easterners, if you will, like Muslims, perhaps wearing turbans or whatever. And because they looked like the Muslims that the Crusaders were there to go after or kill, they were going to kill these Christians as well. Sadly, again, that's going to be the end for some of these Christians. But in 1099, the church is able to recapture Jerusalem. As you might imagine, after finally getting victory, a lot of the Crusaders said, "We are ready to go home." This is a moment where we've been away from our homes, some of them for a few years, and now we want to go back. Unfortunately for them, there's a felt need for being able to protect the land that they had fought really hard to take back. And so the kingdoms that are going to be established are four in number. I'm not going to make you guys or ask that you know those kingdoms, but each one is going to be fortified or built up with a castle. In each of the cities that was going to now be established, these Crusader kingdoms, you're going to be able to see in a few of them remnants of the castles that were here or there. This is one of them at the bottom, and that's what I meant by here, that you're able to still see. You're able to see the walkway. Yes, it's right on the water, but this is going to be the leftovers of one of those Crusader castles. The main group, or the majority of those that were going to be in these areas, basically are going to stay. Instead of going back, a lot of them were single men, and as they came to this area, they basically said, "I have more here in terms of status, perhaps in terms of comfort, than what I have back home," and so many of them are going to stay. They're going to become part of the landscape, even accepting part of the culture that was there. The ironic thing is, some of them are even going to accept or at least tolerate Islam. The irony here is that they've been fighting, some of them for some years, against Muslims, and now instead of saying they're the arch enemy, they're the infidels, instead they're going to say not only are they perhaps our friends, for some of them they're actually going to convert. Again, it seems to be mind-boggling, saying, well, wait a second, how do you go from fighting them to now joining them? But that's what's going to happen. I want to talk about three military orders that are going to be seen. There's a variety of them, but I want to focus in on three of them that are going to be seen in efforts to make sure that pilgrims and others that are going to be coming to the Holy Lands, there's going to be different orders that are going to be established. The first one that we're going to talk about are going to be the Knights of St. John. They're nicknamed the Hospitallers. Their goal is to make sure that as people would be coming to the Holy Lands, they're going to be given food and shelter. Now, some of you guys are aware of the word hospitality. Hospitality. In a lot of ways, that's going to be kind of directly connected here with this nickname of being the Hospitallers. It's not like they're necessarily building hospitals. It's more about hospitality and being able to offer that to those that are coming on pilgrimage. As time goes on, though, it's not going to be about hospitality. It's going to be about fighting, and they're going to wage war against the Muslims. Another group that's going to be there is going to be the Teutonic Knights. Kind of in a similar way, their main job early on was to be about charity, about offering help. But like with the Knights of St. John, you're going to see the Teutonic Knights also turning to being more of a fighting force. The last one are going to be the Knights Templar, or the Knights of the Temple. You guys probably have heard of this group. In the Nicolas Cage movie some years ago, they were one of the key figures that was going to be seen as we tried to figure out, okay, where is the Declaration of Independence and all these secrets that were going to be in America. Supposedly, the Knights Templar were going to be playing a major role in that. I think it's interesting to see how some people paint American history, but that's a different story. Anyhow, these knights are going to say, we're going to be poor. We're not going to be wealthy people or individuals. We're going to be chaste. We're not going to get married. We're not going to have a relationship of that kind. We're going to be obedient. And basically, we're here for the good of the pilgrims. But as time goes on, you're going to see them realizing or feeling in their heart of hearts that those things were not going to be desirable anymore. They said, we want to be about having wealth and power, about being able to be married. These individuals were going to now forsake their vows, put them behind them, and say, we're about now essentially getting as much power as we can. Like I said, there's going to be not only the Nicolas Cage movies, but others as well that are going to say that this secret group, this Knights Templar, has had power going all the way back to this point and before, and they're still around today or still having a role in society. I think all of that is kind of humorous to see the lengths that some will go to. But either way, we're going to see the three different groups, the Hospitallers, the Teutonic Knights, and the Templar Knights, being three of these charitable groups that are going to play a role as these orders. Well, I hope that you've had a good week, and we will see one another again on Friday. Take care.